do have our fair share of challenges, as all you do in your businesses and at home. We've got a debt crisis. We've got a government continually worried and thinking about shutting down. We have a continuing resolution. And guess what? We're a federal contractor. That's not a really good business environment to be in. And so one of our responsibilities is we have to embrace the relationships we have in Congress and make sure that they know what are our capabilities. Tell the story. What is the impact of this organization? What do we have going on? What is the focus? My biggest concern in Washington that I mentioned I was going to allude to is a debate based on a very strong and very aggressive and very influential faction in the House of Representatives that believes that the type of work that we do, applied research and technology development, so this is on the side of the spectrum where you're getting things out to the marketplace, affecting the economy and affecting jobs, is the role of industry. It's not the role of the federal government, and it's not. Industry is not going to come in that early and fund that type of research. It's too high risk. They feel strongly that innovation and discovery and basic research is where our funding should be. Clearly, both are responsible for funding. We want to be ahead of the innovation curve. We've got to get the economy and jobs, and this is a really crucial issue right now for me and for our organization in Congress. We're seeing unprecedented turnover in our customers' offices, a lack of experience. It's not easy to hire right now in these government agencies, and so we're having to teach our customers how to do things. There's drag associated with that. It's harder to get our dollars out of the organizations. It's harder to get decisions. You know, when you hear the threat of a government shutdown and you're a new contracting officer in the government, you're not going to deploy your funds. You're going to hold on to your funds. So that is a real challenging time for us going forward. And the relevance of science in the laboratory complex, stewardship of that in Washington is a huge challenge. From the national laboratories that are across this country to organizations like ours, getting an understanding of the value of that science and research and development is critical at this time. So we're going to tell our story. We're going to demonstrate our impact. We're going to continue to look at new markets. We're going to look at the fringes of the core of what we do, and we will do better. We'll have better solutions, better innovations to be able to keep up with that. As I see it, the reality is that we've got to adapt to the present. We have got to shape the future. That's what's going to define how this company performs, because every year, these years, is getting harder and harder for us to be successful. I'd now like to switch gears, talk about another transformation story. This is one that, from my opinion, my viewpoint, is waiting to happen. I want to put forth a notion that it's up to us to resolve this, all the people in this room. The subject is the transformation of our schools. All of you have seen the data. We have about 25% of the kids in Kansas City are proficient in math. That's less than half the state average. That's down from 31% last year. You see the same results in communications arts, or those of us who took it back when it was called English. The Kansas City schools have lost their accreditation now. This is a dismal record, and we have to do better. The broad impact of this on the region can't be quantified, in my opinion. The P through 12 system is a tangible representation of our region, and it's out there. And so for hiring the best and the brightest for us, when they see those challenges in the Kansas City school system, it has an effect on our ability. It's like criminalizing life-saving biological research and then trying to hire the best and brightest to come to this region. It's not going to happen. This is a really serious issue for us. We have a duty. We've got a responsibility. There's 17,000 kids out there that are caught up in this situation. I don't have all the answers. I don't have many of the answers, but I want to throw an idea out there and see if all of us can participate and get involved. Let's each go back to our respective businesses and organizations and universities and find a way to inspire employees to mentor. Fund a tutor at some of these schools. Talk to the teachers and see what their needs are. If you have one employee who can spend 1 hour a week on this, do it. It's worth it. Since 2005, we've supported the Paseo Academy of Fine and Performing Arts here in Kansas City. We match MRIGlobal staff 1-to-1 for their volunteer hours. We pay the salary of a study hall tutor. We support their art scholarship program. We coach their first robotics team and provide mentors for that. And we do tutoring and training and mentoring in physics and math. Many of those coaches and mentors are here in the room tonight. It's hard work, but it's work that matters. One of the fun pieces for me in all of this has been watching 7 students go for 4 years with us through this program, particularly as it relates to FIRST Robotics. They all graduated in May, all 7 of them, and 4 of them at a fine and performing arts school are going to engineering and sciences in their college degrees. Levance, who's the gentleman in the front, caught me at this meeting and told me he got a 29 on his ACTs. That's not an easy thing to do. He got accepted to Mizzou, so Chancellor Deaton, he's your new hotshot. And he was in tears. And the only thing he wanted from us is he wanted to be able to come back and work for MRIGlobal after he got out of Mizzou. That's a good story. We hosted a graduation pizza party for these 7 kids, and you know, this is the kind of thing that hits home. A faculty member told us this was the only celebration these kids were going to have. He said we had no idea the impact we'd made on their lives. We couldn't understand what their lives were like before we showed them how to dream. Think about that. They had no concept of life that involved college, a career, let alone a career as a scientist or an engineer. Part of my challenge tonight is self-serving because I want to hire those kids back when they get out of school. I want to hire from our own neighborhoods. I want the kids in our own neighborhoods to succeed so that I can do this. That's the challenge. It's immense. Paseo's numbers went down this year, even with all the effort that we had with these 20 students. And yes, it might only be 20 students, but what if each of the organizations in this room, and we have over 50 organizations represented here, did the same thing that we were doing? That would be a heck of a start. None of us alone can turn the tides on the school. There's a lot of people in this room, several of them at my table, that are working hard on this issue from a political standpoint and dealing with the superintendent. But this is about grassroots, dealing with the kids to support what those individuals are doing. I hope you'll join us in this. I think it's a duty that we all share. I'd like to close with a few well-deserved thank yous. First, I'd like to thank my team. This is a team that puts up with me, keeps up with me, tolerates my obsession with looking around the corner of what's next at MRIGlobal. This is the team that's grown this company 55% in the last 2 years to $625 million. They're all here tonight, and they greatly deserve a round of applause. I'd also like to thank my board of directors who, again, I'll throw the word out, tolerance, that they've embraced the vision that I have for this company, and they are excited about what we're doing. They have no idea the value that they provide to me. They're still learning that, but it is immense. Bill, your leadership at this critical time in our history is crucial, and I greatly appreciate it. The third group I want to thank for patience and tolerance, there's a theme here, that word tolerance has now come up 3 times, is my family. I would not be up here, I would not have this opportunity if it weren't for the support I have at home. I love you guys. Including my son hiding in the back of the room. Finally, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, for supporting what we do here, your generosity for this organization. My friends at the partner tables who help us offset the cost. This is not a moneymaker for this institute, so anything anybody did greatly helped us do this, and I greatly appreciate that. And also for being here to celebrate our award winner and celebrate our life trustees. I invite your continued involvement with MRIGlobal, your continued involvement in the community as we aspire for greater achievement. In closing, 2 remarks. Please keep the Beam family in your prayers. I talked to Bob Beam the day his brother passed away, and he's the same age as I am, David was, and so that's a very difficult thing. And also Jim Spigarelli and his family. His daughter passed away about 2 weeks ago from a tough 3-year battle with ovarian cancer, so Jim couldn't be here tonight. But keep the Spigarelli family and the Beam family in your prayers. Thank you.